Hello, Justine. This is the new version for the Brain Map Analyzer. So here, this is the MATLAB file. It's called UC Brain, and this is the only file that you need. And when you double click, it's going to run. So here's the new version. It's kind of different from the other one, and I'll explain how it's different. So I just split it the whole program into two main parts. The first part is the called raw data, and then the second part is called graphs. So what we do is first, again, we select the input file. So let's use the same file that we used on Friday here, this one. And so now in this version, what we do is we only have to click the this button, process the data only once. So when you when we click this, it's going to process the whole data, and then it will save the table of the results in the cache, something like that. So you should just wait at this step, at this level, and after that you'll be able to draw graphs and map the positive values or negative values, whatever. So here, if I click process the data, it's going to go through the data uh, and calculate the results for the table. So yeah, after it gets finished, so it's finished processing the data, okay, and then here you can see the maximum value of result, the mean, and the minimum. And so probably based on this information here, you can decide for the maximum threshold and the minimum threshold. So if you want to set some maximum threshold, let's say 8, and then let's put like -4 for the minimum threshold, and click this again. So it's going to process the data one more time using the thresholds. And so as you can see, this time, because the max threshold was 8, so here now the maximum is something less than 8, and the minimum threshold was -4. So again, the minimum is something higher than -4. And so right now we have the table of results, and there's no need to click this button again. You can go to the next part, which is the graphs. Okay, now here we have 4 options, actually. So 2 of them are for the maps, for the heat maps, and 2 of them are for the grid numbers that show the table of numbers. So here the first button here is going to show us the map, the heat map for considering positive and negative results, right? This is actually the first option. So when I click this, it's going to draw the heat map as soon very fast. The reason is that because we have done the processing the data at the beginning. So in this section, in the graphs, we it's not going to go through the Excel file again. It's just going to like draw the graphs. And so here we got the heat map, and you can see that like it's from -2 probably 0.7 to 7.2, right? So here we have, and then so if you decide to change this the threshold of the colors, here you can do that. So um, so here, instead of, so because here it's from -2 to 7, here we can change it to, like, let's say from minus, or let's say from -1 to 5. Okay, so if you click this one more time, it's going to draw the map which is from -1 to 5, right? And that's it. So now if you want to see the table of results here, if you click this button, it's going to show you a grid of numbers for positive and negative. And if you click this, it's going to show you the results, the numbers. See, you can see that we have some negative values, some positive values, and here like we have positive value and a lot of negative values, whatever. And so I just close this. Now, so the two other buttons here are for actually for the absolute values. So it's going to convert the table to only positive numbers. And if you click this, this is going to be the map for considering only positive numbers. Okay, I mean, it's actually the absolute value of all of the results. And so let's actually put this, let's remove this, and oh, I'm sorry, and let's do it one more time. So map for only positive, and here we get this value. And so anytime that you click any of these four buttons, based on if it's for positive and negative or it's for only positive, it's also going to change the values of maximum, the mean, and the min, right? So because I clicked on map for only positive, so that's why we only have positive numbers here, right? So it's from 0 to 7 point whatever, and it's based on the thresholds here. So yeah, and then again the same thing. If you want to change the the threshold of the colors here, you can put, like, right now it's between 0 and 7, so we can put it from, like, let's say 0 to 5, and again click this button, and then we get a table, a heat map, which is from 0 to 5. Okay, so and then the last button is showing the results for the positive values. So if you click this, you can see that all of the results are positive numbers, right? And so let's compare it with this one, which is including the positive and negative numbers. If we click this here, see, we get two tables, and this one is including the positive and negative ones, and then this one is only positive. So for example, here we have -2.1, and then here it becomes 2.1, right, and so forth. And so because I clicked this, so see, you can see that the maximum, the mean, and the minimum change based on that, because here we're considering positive and negative, so that's why here for the minimum we have negative, right? So anytime that you decide to change the maximum threshold and the minimum threshold, you should, if you want to change this, like, to, I don't know, like 6 whatever, and you want to apply the change in thresholds, you should process the data again. Okay, so actually there is a solution for when you change the thresholds. There's some way to actually, I can probably do it in the future, that without processing the data again, you would be able to change the thresholds. And because here, when you change the threshold, you have to click process the data, and then you have to wait for a couple seconds. So I can prevent this to happen. I can, like, put this part in the graphs, but I'll do that later. But at this time, it's just like, yeah, okay. So here, yeah, so because we put the max 6, so the max is much less than 6, right? And I mean, so when this was 8, here for the maximum value we got 7 point something, but when we put 6, it decreases much. so it's showing us that probably from, so here we get 7 point something, but when you put 6 here, you get um, actually a very small number here as the maximum. So it's showing that probably from 1 to 6 we don't have any results, right? And okay, so one more time. So when you process the data, you can just go to the next part in the graphs and apply any of these without waiting at all. So when you click this, you just get the heat map right away. When you click this, you get the heat map for the positive values. And when you click this, you get the table of results for the positive, for the positive and negative numbers. And when you click this, you get the table of results for only positive, for actually for the absolute values of the results. And anytime you click any of these, here it's showing the maximum, the mean, and the minimum based on that. So here, because I clicked grid of numbers for only positive, so that's why we have only positive numbers here. And this is the maximum and the mean and the minimum for only absolute values. And that's it. So yeah, please let me know if you have any questions. And that's it. Have a nice day, Justin. Bye bye.